Welcome back to the Void Collector Devlog series, where I document the progress on my fast-paced first-person shooter. For those who missed the previous episode, this is a game all about defeating every enemy and making it to the end of the stage while moving as fast as possible. By pressing 1 through 5 on the keyboard, you toggle each finger on and off, allowing you to make different hand shapes that serve as the different weapons. I'd like to introduce two new weapons to the arsenal. The first is the new functionality for the Rock On. As of now, it's an instant dash with brief invulnerability. This is offset by a high juice cost. It does slightly step on the toes of the bird, with both granting invincibility. I would argue they both have different use cases, but the bird might need a slight buff to help it stand out. One of the most fun things to do with this new dash is to combine with Gravity Surge for massive speed. The second is for a completely open hand, called the Gimme. It's a grapple of sorts, quickly launching the player towards what they shoot. The further from the target you are when you use it, the faster and further you'll fly. Keep in mind that this only works on enemies to ensure that the movement isn't too busted. Now, this weapon was originally designed to pair nicely with the Dragon Killer's Punch. Being able to zoom towards an enemy, uppercut them, and then blast them away with a shotgun was too fun of an idea to not include. However, I realized that going from a completely open hand to a completely closed one required hitting all 5 keys in rapid succession, and it just didn't feel very good or natural. I solved this by adding in a new button called the Inverter. It simply inverts the state of every finger. This has already made a substantial improvement on game feel. It opens up several new weapons to synergizing well. From the double barrel to the bill payer, allowing combos of shoving the enemy far backwards before hitting them, with a long range, high damaging sniper shot. And it allows the Gimme, Dragon Punch, and double barrel to synergize. Now, you saw a glimpse last time, but let's properly introduce 3 enemies that are planned for Demo 1. First up is Slapmo, the most basic enemy type. He runs a bit faster than the player does, and will attack the second you get in his range. To compensate for this, he gets knocked back when taking damage. Use this to keep him at bay. Just one Slapmo isn't a problem, but a swarm can be a legitimate threat. Next is the Bouncer, an enemy even faster than Slapmo. While he is invulnerable to knockback, he doesn't actually deal damage. Instead, he tries to use his knockback to hit you away and into a pit. They may seem harmless, but underestimating them is a sure way to find yourself tumbling off the stage. Finally is Gunther, a projectile shooting enemy. His shots are blisteringly fast, but relatively simple to dodge at longer ranges. The real threat of Gunther has been combined with the other two, taking advantage of the player's distractions to take his shot. To compensate, he has the lowest health of all the enemies, making him not very dangerous when he's left alone. The goal with these 3 is to have enemies that all require different ways to fight, and interesting synergies in ways of fighting them. After all, Void Collector is a game all about using a limited set of tools creatively, and it needs enemies that complement that design philosophy. Next up are some game feel changes. First is the addition of Coyote Time. This is a brief period of time where if you walk off a ledge, you can still jump afterwards. This just makes the game feel a bit nicer, especially considering how fast you can go, and this gives a little bit of extra leniency. The second tweak is a change to the crosshair. Every weapon has different ranges, but it wasn't clear what those were, or if you were actually within range to shoot an enemy or not. So, I've added a new function to the crosshair where it turns red if you're hovering over an enemy that's within range. And as you can see, the range will update. For example, the shotgun no longer is, and now it's back in red. So, before we conclude, I wanted to thank everyone for the support on the last devlog and stream. Whenever I've tried to make something in the past, I got maybe 20 odd views, and it's kind of about it. But somehow, that last devlog got quite a bit more attention than that, and it's exciting to know that there are other people who are actually interested in something I'm working on. So, I wanted to, once again, thank everybody for the support. It's very cool. Anyways, expect devlogs most Fridays, and a stream every Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. EST. Subscribe if you want to see how the game progresses, and suggestions are welcome and encouraged. Thanks for watching.